Welcome to the OMG Show.
Hello and welcome to the OMG Show. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about goals and clarity and how to come up with them and how to actually execute them so you can accomplish what you want to accomplish. Okay, now, the first thing that I always like to recommend when it comes to goal setting is doing a brain dump. Okay, if you're like me, my head is always going and churning and thoughts are coming in. You know, some are great, some are, about 99% of them are terrible. But what you need to do is you need to get out of your head. So I always have like a little journal around me. I can't, it's out of reach right now. Otherwise I'd show you. For those listeners, I have a journal where I pretty much just jot down everything that I do. But and that's kind of like on an ongoing basis. But really what ends up happening and what I recommend you do is that pretty much break down your year into quarters, right? And every 90 days, dedicate at least, 2 to 3 days for you to focus on where you want to take the next steps of your life, right? So when it comes to your business, your relationships, your fitness goals, et cetera, take, 3 days to kind of just sit down and just work through that. Okay. And that's when I do a lot of the brain dumping. That is when I'll actually sit down and get most of whatever's in my head out, and I'll put it on a whiteboard, a piece of paper, just out of my head so I can actually look at everything. Okay. Now, the next thing that I do is I ask myself, okay, where do I want to be next year? Okay. What do I want to happen in my business, in my life? What does my day in the future look like? What needs to happen in order for me to be happy in 1 year? Okay. And I'll brain dump that. I'll just go I write down everything. I don't judge anything. Just write it down. I'm not looking to whether it's dumb, it's smart, whatever. Go for it. Okay. What we're trying to do is just get out of our head. Okay. Now, once we identify kind of like our brain dump, but also where we want to be in a year, now we start looking at, okay, well, here's all the crazy thoughts that I have on one side, and here's the thoughts that are going to make me happy in 1 year. How do we bridge the gap, right? And this is where we have kind of what's called a, kind of like a March Madness bracket or a goal off or anything like that. But pretty much what you want to do is you want to pit your goals against each other, right? You want to get whatever's out of your head plus whatever's going to make you happy in 1 year and put them in a bracket and then start going, okay, is goal A versus goal B, which one's more important? Okay, goal A, boom. All right, goal C versus goal D, which one's more important? Goal C. Okay, so now between A and C, which one's more important? C. Okay, so as you start doing that with all of your goals, you're going to start figuring out really, really quickly what's the most important thing you need to be working on right now. And then everything else is going to fall into place in terms of, okay, these can kind of be on the back burner. So now when you're looking at your year calendar, you know exactly what needs to happen in quarter 1 versus quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Okay, pretty much whatever's on your bracket, you just put into those positions. So now you know, okay, in the next 90 days, here's what I need to do. So that way, by the second quarter, I'll be here and I'll have this task to finish. That way, when I complete that and I go to the third quarter, this is where I'll be. And then once the third quarter is done, it's pretty much the home stretch. But it's the fourth quarter, and then I'll be where I need to be at the end of the year. Okay? And you want to do that, again, not just for your business, but for your life, your relationships, your finances, your fitness, all that kind of things. In fact, one of the mentors that I follow, he's like faith, finances, fitness, family. Those are like his core 4. And it's really easy to kind of just memorize that and just break down your goals in that way. And that way you can map them all out over the year. Now, when it comes to like your daily and your weekly tasks, right? Once you figure out what needs to happen within, the 90 days, you have to break that goal down into tasks. Okay. So for example, if I want to have like 10,000 subscribers on any platform, I know that I need to create content. Okay, great. And so the goal is going to be to do, for example, by then the next year, 52 videos, so a video a week. So I know that I need to do a video, okay? But that video has different elements, right? We need to have an intro, the editing, the shooting, the audio stuff. There's a lot of different things, a lot of moving parts in order for this goal to actually happen, right? So, for example, think of it better example would probably be like sports related. So football, right? At the end of the year, we want to win the Super Bowl. What needs to happen? Okay, the goal is to win 16 games or to win the game of the week. That's going to be the goal. But in order to win the game of the week, what needs to happen? We got to go to practice. We got to train. We got to eat right. We got to sleep right. We got to do whatever. Right? So you break down that goal within that 90-day framework, and you kind of look at, okay, what are the daily tasks, the weekly tasks that I need to do? So monthly, weekly, daily, in order to accomplish that goal. And you get your planner or your to-do list or a piece of paper or whatever, and you start jotting that down. But then now you have a game plan, and that's how you get massive clarity when it comes to what you need to get done. Okay, it takes a lot of work to get to the point where you figured out your 90-day, milestone, if you will, to then figure out what your 90-day goals need to be, to then break it down into monthly, weekly, and daily manageable tasks that you can knock out. But rest assured, if you knock out those tasks, you'll be where you want to be and get to where you want to go. Okay, that is a system that I learned. I believe it's called the 90-day year. I might have chopped up a little bit here and there, but I kind of just custom tailored it over the years to kind of fit how I like to do things. But that's really kind of what I recommend for you to do, right? Now, another piece that I really like to add on top of the goal setting is what's called kind of like an executive scorecard. So I learned this from, again, another mentor of mine who's in finance. He's the VP of operations for one of the largest financial firms. And so what he recommends is, okay, you figure out what you want to make at the end of the year, and you subtract the amount of days that you're not going to work. So if you only want to work, 3 months, then, you subtract 3 months from 12, there you go, right? But you figure out how many days you are going to work, and you divide the salary that you want to have by the number of days you're going to work. So then now you know how much money you need to be making every single day to hit that end goal. Okay? So, now, once you identify what you need to make for that day, as you're working those tasks that we set up in that year process, right, we start identifying low value tasks versus high value tasks. Okay? So, for example, writing a blog post might be considered a low value task, whereas scheduling or mapping out a $2,000 course might be, again, the 10K valued idea, okay, or more. So as you start mapping out the tasks in your day, you want to put some kind of monetary value behind them. So what is writing a blog post worth to you? What is working on a course worth to you? What is mapping out your content strategy over the next 90 days versus writing a Twitter post? What are the values between those? Okay, and as you start to break down your day between low value and high value, you can start identifying what you can start to outsource. Okay, so all these low value tasks, like it might be important for you to write the blog, but is it important for you to go into your WordPress page and do all the tagging and doing all the SEO stuff? Maybe not so much. Maybe you can outsource that, right? Is it important for you to have a social media calendar? Absolutely. But is it up to you to be posting it, or can you outsource that, right? You should be running paid traffic, but is it up to you to manage that? Who knows, right? So that whole kind of daily breakdown allows you to really figure out, okay, how to make the best use of your time. Because as a business owner, or as you're navigating through your life, you really kind of want to focus on the high value things, right? Like spending time with your family, working on that next 10K idea, eating well, and spending time for your your spirituality, your mentality, making sure your mental health is good, and all that kind of good stuff, right? Not necessarily the low end, the low value tasks. Okay, so when you combine these two strategies together, the mapping out your year, breaking it down into quarters, and then understanding what goals you need to hit and breaking that goal down into monthly, weekly, and daily tasks. And then on the other side, having that system where you're pretty much mapping out all the tasks in your day and putting a value and seeing if at the end of the day you made that dollar figure that you're supposed to hit. When you combine those two, now you have a massive plan of attack in order to move you completely forward, right? Now you know exactly what needs to happen and when, and whether it's worth your time or not. Okay? And that's kind of the system that I like to use when I'm creating my own goals. And I recommend that you implement at least a few of these strategies into your own. Okay. So that's it. That brings us to the end of this episode. That's what I would recommend. If you're looking for, how to create goals and how to have clarity, that's a system I recommend for you to use. I'm pretty sure if you want to know more about it, you can look up the 90-day year, or there's also like the 4-week something. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll include the links in the show notes. But if you like this episode, make sure to head over to oscarmgarcia.com/free to get my ultimate sales system for online businesses. It'll show you the 4 proven methods that you need to pretty much run your business on autopilot. And at the same time, make sure to check out oscarmgarcia.com to check up on this episode's show notes, other helpful resources, including some of the ones that I spoke about today. All right, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, everyone.